Hello. Hi. This will be my dashboard walkthrough. Hope you enjoy. So basically, before there are gonna be 6 pages within my dashboard. Go through all of them, but before that, maybe we start first with the data source and how this dashboard comes about. So for this data source, we rely on the oldest data set which from Kaggle, which is basically the e-commerce data set that's provided there free of charge. So its oldest is a e-commerce platform that gets orders from people. It's a Brazilian company, so most of their orders is going to be within Brazil itself. Yeah, all of them. So basically, this data source, the first one, and there are two. So the first one is basically the standard way of doing it. Basically the orders data set that they provided, joining to a couple of reference data sets that they have. So there's the customer data set joined on basically their customer ID, the person who actually bought it, then also the order items, which basically means that within each order there are a couple of within each order ID. One order ID is tagged to multiple products within that. So yeah, so each product will have its own separate row within this database. So then this database will then join to the individual product. So basically they're going to talk about what's the specifications of that product, what's the weight of it, what the height of it, the volume of it, and then that in turn will be joined to the category name. So basically within the product, there is a product category ID, which will be then translated into an actual name itself. So then also for the order items, each order item is fulfilled by a seller. So the sellers also have their own seller ID. So that database is here, and that so the customer and the seller's database is then joined to a geolocation database, which basically takes their a zip code and basically translate it into actual lat long. So they do that for both the customer where the order is going to, as well as where the order comes from. So yeah, you're gonna have both of that here. So also it has a payments database which basically says is it paid by credit card or not, but that's not as important. So generally speaking, there are a couple of calculated fields that I have, which I think I've detailed within the report itself. But some of them interesting is like saying a delivery type, which is basically saying whether the divided into within the same city, so within Sao Paulo to Sao Paulo, for example, or is it like say within the state of Sao Paulo. So Sao Paulo is a city name, but also it's also a state name. So it could be within the city. So this one Ferraz could be some basically this one Sao Paulo to Kachma within Sao Paulo. So then there's interstate as well. So that's some interesting things. I think the rest, I think it's detailed within the report itself. I'll just go into the second data set, which basically is the buyer time. So basically for this, I leverage off Super Data Science, which has this thing called destination maps. And what it is basically the visualization that you will see later on, telling from the both the seller state to the destination state. So that requires that I have this special way to join the data. So basically it's just duplicating the rows, basically joining to itself, and then basically because one row has like the destination and the seller let long in one single row, so we are basically unpivoting that into two rows. And we do that by having a self join, and then basically we also have a identifier saying that from the first row to the second row, so it's called root order, and it goes by 1 or 2. And then also we have root identifier, which basically tells me which state I came from and then which state I'm going to. or yeah, or yeah. So but generally it's around the same. So I will just dive into it. So for our story, let me like this screen here. Okay, so basically we have six dashboard stories within here, uh, and let me just figure out. Okay, yeah. And so for the first one, basically it acts like more or less an overview of the entire so for someone that's new, and then you can just come in and then basically see what how like overview of the performance. So the main charts here are basically the order purchase date trend, which basically says from the start of the data set to the end, in terms of dates, how was the basically the revenue doing over time. So and split by week and quarter down here. And I did a small annotation down here for the peak. As well as we have like the hourly trend as well, which basically also says the total revenue, and then basically splits that by the three delivery types that I mentioned before in the first data set. So interstate, intrastate, and same city. And also we have customer state revenue, which is here, basically tells you out of the entire revenue how much came from which state. So that's taken by the area inside these graphs. So the cool and also we have a few like breakdowns as well, like so for category revenue, this is product category, and the overview basically tells you the total revenue, number of orders, how many people actually use the platform in terms of customers as well as sellers, and how many items were usually ordered per one order. So the interesting thing is that this dashboard is filterable. So these three charts, in fact, can filter. So let's say, for example, I want to find out what within Christmas Eve 2017, there was a peak here. Like, so how was the purchase pattern like, and which categories, and so on and so forth. So what I can do is just click on here, and basically all the charts here will just filter to this one point. So we have here 137K. So we know there are 2,000 orders. And then we see the purchase pattern that, oh, like there was a spike at 11 a.m., especially for interstate deliveries. And also it came mostly from Sao Paulo, and like mostly it was furniture, bed, bath and table, and oh, health and beauty. Yeah, so then that's watches. So all these are like Christmas gifts, like for example. So if let's say compare that to well, okay, like it's kind of the same product categories, but you see the purchase behavior and the hourly actually has changed. So yeah, general trends, it's basically increasing from Q1 to basically all the way 2017 2018. So basically also there was this drop that I noted down here straight after Christmas, probably their closure. Also there was this drop down here, but basically this is an effect of having orders that are not completed, not fulfilled, means basically they've been confirmed, but they've not been delivered yet. So within this data set actually filter for only completed orders. The reason is that there are now fields that we are looking at when say order has not been delivered. They don't have the time that they've actually delivered as well. So there's a couple of missing data. So I've decided to just deal with the delivered, the past data basically. It's a way of at least ensuring data completeness down here. So yeah. So generally that's it for the first overview pane. We go into the second one. So second one basically is also saying for example, so this basically writes on the first data set that I talked about. So this one also writes on that data set. Basically this is the same broken down by category. So we have a product category down here, as well as we have percentage of total revenue that product category contributed, as well as the percentage to the total amount of orders. So like was there like a lot of people ordering health and beauty, for example. So we can tell from this chart that actually, oh, bed, bath and table comprise of 10%, of the overall. So yeah, so basically for here, there's the bottom part tells you each item, what's the revenue. So we can tell down here actually, oh, computers are the most valuable sort of product that people sell. So high revenue. Revenue basically is defined by the order value plus the freight inside. Yeah. So also, so basically also we see what's the upper quartile, median, as well as the lower quartile. So basically it's just a breakdown, and so the insights is basically also we have health and beauty that contributed really a lot of revenue, and we also have bed bath and table, which is actually the one that was contributed the most in terms of order quantity. Also, so computers and small home coffees are the most expensive things on the market. So yeah, so generally that's it for this. And let's see, yeah, no, can't really filter for, yeah, it's not really filterable for here. So for the third one, okay, so for this freight value analysis, basically, I examine the freight value of each. So this individual order itself. So within the order, within the product itself, within that order, what was the freight of that? And then basically, I'm then plotting that individual order against distance, weight, as well as volume. The key thing here is to see what the shape of it is like. So whether there's some trends that we can tell here, as well as like uh, like are they very correlated in a sense, or is there like outliers down here? So something that we can tell from this thing is that, oh, product generally stops at about this 30k. So 30k basically is in grams, and so we have 30 kg is the max deliverable for this marketplace. But we also do see two of the exceptions. Well, this could be an outlier, or this could be a real exception. This is bed, bath, and table. So and then we see also, like for example, we have some baby stuff that is really high. Later I'll jump more into product category specific. Also for volume, we see that most of them, like there's like quantized quantity down here, which basically is 250,000. Yeah, all of them are basically 200, around the range of 250,000. And it's just, yeah, correct, yeah. But also we have things that fall above that volume. And we see, like, okay, let me go into specific. So I did do for arts, like for example for art, we see that there's some kind of distribution down here in terms of all these are art orders, and well, there's a sort of like a limit down here, as well as there's a particular piece of art that basically had a low um freight value, but actually it was pretty high on terms of the volume. So, and as well as, so this could be maybe like some discount deal or something like that. They had a low freight value down here, but this is interesting. This one basically there's a really high freight value, but there is no, it's really like comparatively short distance. The weight not say like in line with the rest, as well as the volume is kind of not really um remarkable, but I would say that it's really high freight value for it, way above the average. So this could be like, for example, the high, like high end art piece that you might have. So I detailed that down here in the description. Yeah, so if let's say, like for example, it's more steep, it could be that it's more dependent on the distance in terms of like what contributes to the freight. Yeah. but basically that's more or less about it for this chart. Yeah, go back to everything. Yeah, so basically also the color is by category itself. Yeah, as you can tell. So next, customer state fright delay analysis. So basically for this, what we are looking at is basically we take uh, the origin state. So no, sorry, the customer state as the nexus. So this basically is where people have been ordering their, where the customers are. So basically this route here is from the seller all the way to the customer, the route, uh, and it's weighted by say how much revenue that route actually has. And as well, the important here is the delay. So the median delay would be like say 16 days. So for a high revenue route, that's pretty high actually. So the key thing here about this dashboard is trying to see if like the scale of economies of scale is basically taken care of. So expected if let's say like there's a lot of orders from a particular state, there could be like ways to like reduce the transportation costs. In a sense, the assumption is that every like seller does its own shipping to the customer itself. But say maybe all this can optimize this by doing a bulk logistic like partner supply deal, so to speak lah. They can say okay, like let's negotiate for cheaper freight or better say okay, like better freight costs in a sense. Well, the freight cost is not really highlighted here, but it's more on the delay, saying that okay, like we encounter way a lot more delays for here to here compared to say like somewhere that's really far away, like this million days like 13 14 or 27. Okay, that's pretty high. Yeah, but basically saying that okay, someone from this dashboard looking at this dashboard can go back and say that that's improved the infrastructure that brings the orders from PR. So basically PR is Parana to Sao Paulo SP. Yeah, so that's something that they can do, as well as like we examine which are the states that depend on each other the most. So these are the states like Sao Paulo is down here, and basically intrastate is highlighted. So by then we can expand the highlighting to the entire thing. So as you can tell, if let's say I highlight intrastate, it's only within the state itself. And we can tell from this chart in the total revenue, actually a lot is being provided by the intrastate business vertical. And then we have same city state, which is just providing a little. This of course, this is a bit of error term in the outlier in the data that needs to be cleaned. Basically for this line chart, this one is talking about what's the median delay. So it's what highlighted there. So when you don't highlight the chart, then all the routes appear. But the way to use the chart is to say highlight one city. I'm gonna highlight Rio de Janeiro, and gonna see okay, oh actually, so for Rio, the second second most top generating revenue state, actually Sao Paulo is basically one of the biggest like suppliers, the biggest supplier to Rio de Janeiro. But we see that median delay is 13 days and 15 days. Not much difference, from someone that is pretty near to someone that is comparatively far. I would think that something more can be done, especially since like they are such small close in proximity. Something has to be done in terms of median delays. So as we look out further, we see like for the state that's pretty far and low revenue, there's actually there's the higher median delay as compared to states that are nearer. That's good. That's something that we want to observe. But yeah, there's more that can be done as well. And for this chart, basically is telling you what's the distribution in the freight delay, like what's the median, as well as are there like outliers down here. So why I choose median is because there are presence of outliers. So to account for that, we use the median. Uh, then let's see, for example, so Sao Paulo. Also, this is colored by the business vertical as well. So you see, like for this, my median is 14, and as well as for this, well, my median is 10. It's a bit less. And this is a median is a bit light. For same city, it's 9. You would think same city is really like low, 9 days. There's a delay on average. So there's something really so how all this database work is that they estimate a delivery date, and then they also have a column for actual delivered date. So basically estimated is probably when the order has been made, and then for actual delivery is when it's actually fulfilled. But so that's, I take the DDA as the difference between the two, difference there highlighted here. Yeah, so yeah, instructions are basically here, and yeah, we can tell Sao Paulo is the main nexus of trade, and delays are quite abundant throughout here. So people can use this to optimize. Yeah, okay, so we go into next, seller state revenue and quantity analysis. So this is kind of the same, but it's flipped the other way. So basically seeing that what's the breakdown for each seller state. So these are the states, like for example Sao Paulo is the one providing so where the sellers are located, and these are where their buyers are located. So we see the revenue streams going out here. So this is in a way saying that, okay, like instead of examining from the perspective of which state generates the most orders, this is which state houses the most sellers, and what can I do to actually for my sellers to improve. So there's a demand and supply aspect to the marketplace. So this is the supply side optimization. So in this case, I've highlighted Sao Paulo intrastate again. So we can tell again, Sao Paulo is the state with the highest seller revenue being generated. So there are a lot of orders that coming from people in Sao Paulo. Means people in Sao Paulo are the ones distributing this to other consumer states. So we can tell that, like PR is basically oops, I should be putting a legend down here. So basically PR is the highest like revenue down here, and basically the color depth is saying like how many orders are going to the state itself. Yeah, we can tell that actually, okay, 152 compared to 66, well, that's 612, that's about a half. Yeah, so more or less around, like say 3,000 orders here, and well, 1,005 more about. So yeah, the color denotes how many like orders goes from one state to another. So in a sense, you can think of it as like infrastructure. Like there could be some infrastructure that they can improve within these two states, leveraging on, of course, again, economies of scale lah. And yeah, so basically if let's say we do it for others, yeah, we also have, so whoa, interestingly, Rio de Janeiro, the most major partner is Sao Paulo. They give most their orders to Sao Paulo, and the other states you can see here, but it's really little in terms of quantity. Again, for here, Sao Paulo is the major partner that most states actually work with. I can tell they're actually the biggest consumer side. Yeah, all these are all basically people that are selling the goods to Sao Paulo, and as well as selling the goods to all these other states. RJ Rio de Janeiro is here. So yeah, this is how this graph should be used. For the last graph, basically it's again on seller state analysis. But basically we're saying within the Sao Paulo, for example, what is the top 10 product categories that they specialize in. So each seller actually only produces one product category, but basically so basically that's a side note. So within all the sellers within Sao Paulo, which how many fall into the bed, bath, and table category, and how many watches, and so on and so forth. Then also we can tell like the proportion of same state, intrastate, and interstate. Um, and as well as here we can so if let's say you can tell, okay, within the only interstate bed, bath, and table is the highest. Uh, as see we can tell even without filtering for all the states, health and beauty is like in the topmost. And um well, there is quite a lot of interstate deliveries for this. Let's see, let's zoom in for example for Sao Paulo, or let's see for another state. You can tell from here actually, so even for Minas Gerais, there's very little same state deliveries. I think I observed that throughout most of the states. So basically saying that most people use this platform is for interstate lah, um, and and intrastate as well. I mean, but more so for interstate, because people I can just go out the door and just get, if let's say it's in the same city, but interstate is a bit difficult, so that's why they use OList. I suppose that's my inference. Um, yeah, so basically for this chart, Sao Paulo, and we have a Pareto line. Basically tells you what's the percentage running total of revenue. So basically we tell from these two states already, these three states actually is past the 80% mark. These first three states provide 80% of the revenue that we see in the platform itself. So you can tell, yeah. So yeah, for Sao Paulo, basically what I was trying to say here is that, okay, so you see the difference. Watches and gifts is basically the second highest product in Sao Paulo, but compared to the rest, bed, bath, and table basically doesn't really come into even the top. Oh, okay, wait, this is bed, bath, and table for Sao Paulo, but health and beauty basically falls into the third category down here. Well, so some stuff interesting that you can tell. And Piranha computer accessories is the number one. So yeah, that's how you use this dashboard. So in general, yeah, that's my presentation, and thank you very much.